I had a friend who worked in loan companies, where he was debt collector basically, but online, like over the phone, not knocking on doors. You know, he's a slim guy, so he wouldn't scare anyone. But alhamdulillah. And he was telling me there would be people they would call up that took out a £300 loan, haven't paid it back in 12 months. Do you know how much they owe?
2,000.
£15,000. Because after the first month, it becomes a day on day. So if it was £300, at the end of the month, the interest kicks in. It becomes, let's say, 330. The next day, the 330 is what gets hit, not the 300.
Yeah.
So now it's going up to like 383, and then it goes up to like 450, and then it compounds.
Compound interest, exactly.
So then it compounds. By the end of the day, it was 15 grand.
It's like this.
Yeah, and then imagine that, like I'm not going to pay you back £15,000 over a £300 loan, as well. Like it just doesn't make sense, right? But now he's indebted, and he might lose his house, he might lose his car, he might lose his family, all because of a £300 loan that he probably took out for just some nonsense, a night out or something.
Exactly. There was a documentary about 5-6 years ago on the BBC. Saying it was called "Killed by My Debt." You might have seen it. If you've not seen it, I recommend our viewers to watch that documentary, "Killed by My Debt." It was about a young guy. He was delivering blood. Like these motorcycles that deliver blood from hospital to hospital. He was doing it. They got a parking fine. Didn't pay. He didn't have the money to pay it. He was on a 0 hours contract. It's in London, so £70 became £140. After a year became 1,000, 2,000. After 3-4 years, he moved address. It compounded. Subhanallah. And he was getting bombarded. They were taking away his valuables, his TVs, etc. And one day he was found in the forest by his brother. He hung himself because they were just completely bombarding him, harassing him. And this is again a form of interest, because the Islamic principle is you, in good faith, you take back what was even if you say, look, I give you £50, but I want to take back £70, but that's actually included in the. It's not interesting in that sense, because it's actually said in the contract. Like APR. APR is when you pay the interest on the interest amount. So you pay 10% on £100, 110, then you pay 10% on £110, so £122, and it keeps going up like this. Whereas if you decide beforehand, I'm going to give you 5%, and it's going to remain constant. It's a rewording, and it's not actually using the person. They call it usury. Why do they call it usury? The person gets completely used. They get completely used.